Well, good morning. It is Sunday morning, October the 6th, 2024. Welcome once again to the gift shop here at the Hotel Orloff, here in sunny and beautiful, historic Rural Retreat, Virginia. Well, there's lots of stuff here, but you know something? The kitchen help didn't show up today, so we're going to head out to the gas station to pick up some food. Oh, I hear the voice of Ted Cassidy coming to me from the cathode ray tube here. Wonderful Sunday morning, golly gee. What is Space Ghost up to this morning? Well, everything is set just as it was when Jan disappeared. Let's oh man, it's still dark outside. Why do I have my sunglasses on? I thought it was already, it's 5 minutes till 7. That sun is getting lazy, man. It's time to shoot our arrows at the sun, ladies and gentlemen. The sun is, Hercules once did that. He shot arrows at the sun. He was angry. And to avoid getting angry, it's important to get a nice, nourishing, healthy breakfast. Then we'll look at some comic books today. Well, yesterday's show, that was something. I was up about the same time, and this channel that Friar Tuck taught us about, it's some bootleg channel from China that you can get on your Roku that shows old cartoons, right? Well, they were showing Iron Man from 1966 and Spider-Man from 67 and what else? The cartoons and the Hulk from 66, right? So, the sound of those cartoons playing in the background set off Disney alert, and Disney kept my show from being seen for most of the day. So YouTube offers this service where they'll edit out the background music while keeping your voice, or they'll trim out entire segments of the show where you show an offending TV screen in the background that has these Disney-owned things playing. So most of the day, YouTube was re-editing my video, so it's back up, edited with music trimmed and stuff, but it's all right. There's a segment that's trimmed out. Yeah, those wonderful Marvel superheroes cartoons from 1966 were produced by Grand Trey Lawrence Animation Studio in Canada. They're fantastic, and Disney owns them now because they bought Marvel, the evil Disney organization, the socialist, communist scum. But they're not going to let you ever see those cartoons. They're going to sit on them like a dragon guarding his gold hoard. They're never going to put them on the Disney Plus channel or whatever that streaming channel is called. You're not going to ever see those. Trust me. Because you know why? Because they're better than the current Marvel movies that are being made and released in theaters. Even with their limited animation and everything, they're clearly better because they're using the actual words from the Silver Age comics. They have great acting, great music, and it's not great animation, but it's just like panels from the wonderful comics. So it's just like those comics have come to life, or kind of slight life. I mean, they don't move, like the animation's limited, but it's like watching a slide. It's like listening to old time radio with a slideshow is what it is, kind of, and it's wonderful. I love those cartoons. Anyway, so So therefore, that yesterday's show doesn't have as many views as a typical show because it didn't. It had spent almost all of Saturday with people unable to watch it. So, que sera, sera. Let's see. Now, also when I turned on the radio while I was going to go get breakfast, the Loretta Lynn song that had to be trimmed out too. But luckily, the radio's only playing. The radio station I like, it doesn't boost its signal up where I can hear it until about, I don't know, must be about 7:15. But it's a Sunday morning. It's an oldies country station. They play wonderful old country gospel music on Sunday morning. So let's see what's on the other stations. That all sounds very copywritten type of music. Well, so I don't know. There was a wonderful rally yesterday. Trump returned to Butler, Pennsylvania, where they almost got him back in July, and Elon Musk was with him, and there was just a wonderful, wonderful thing. He had like thousands and thousands of people. Kamala Harris had a rally, and 47 people showed up. Then they brought in a bus or two, and then they got it up to 70 people. And you know something I was thinking, there's something going viral where Kamala Harris is, her teleprompter fails while she's talking. And she's saying, we have 32 more days to the election. Then it goes out, and she goes, 32, and the 32 days. We're gonna really have to fight hard. Then the crowd cheers. 32 days. Yeah, and it's a close race, so we're really gonna have to get out there. 32. I'm just thinking, man, the President of the United States, this lady, is exactly my age. I can go on, I could do a stream for 11 hours, and I do say and a lot, but I can keep going. I don't have a teleprompter right now, and I can keep going, and it's like, man, or maybe she could, but she's afraid. She's been told, you say only what's on the teleprompter. You understand? For the people in charge, the real people in charge. Well, that's what I think, man. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Sun's coming up. Sun's coming up. I got cakes on the griddle. Life ain't nothing but a funny, funny riddle. Thank God I'm a comic book boy. Isn't it great to be a member of the comic book community? It's so warm and welcoming. I just love it so much. Oh, the people are so great. Oh, it's wonderful. It gives me that warm feeling like I just peed my pants to be a member of the comic book community. Yeah, there's some wonderful people. Speaking of, I'm thinking that we're going to have a new name. It's not only going to be the Gratu Army, it's going to be, like Benny and the Jets. It's going to be Gratu and the Jerks. We're going to be Gratu and the Jerks because the comic book community thinks we're jerks. By the way, oh my gosh, isn't that amazing? So how are you guys doing on this wonderful, beautiful Sunday morning, man? Not a cloud in the sky. Got the sun in my eyes, and I just can't believe it, ladies and gentlemen. It brings a tear to my eye. Hey, if Meyer, if you're watching this while driving, I don't know if you're driving or riding along in a U-Haul, this is Meyer Greenblatt's big day. He's moving from San Francisco to a wonderful community up in the mountains. near where the Cartwrights lived in the Bonanza TV show. He's getting out of the big city just in time before who knows what happens in a few short days. You don't want to be living in big cities, especially not San Francisco. But anyway, he's escaping. He's moving all his stuff today. It'll all be gone. He's been living in that apartment, I believe he said 14 years. And when you are a collector, you've been in a place for a long time. I mean, I was in a place, well, where I was living in Texas, I was there over 45 years in that particular place, location. And I moved one time in the 90s, but my collection wasn't as large then. It's an adventure moving, but he's got his son and some friends helping him, and they're gonna all get it done. And then tomorrow, Monday, he's gonna move into his new place and move all that stuff in, and then marvelous new adventures and videos will be appearing on the Meyer Greenblatt channel, because he'll be unboxing all of the stuff, his entire collection, and hopefully he'll be showing us some videos as the stuff comes out of boxes. Might be stuff we've seen before, but it'll be just fun watching him decorate his new place and all that. So that being said, having said that, let's move forward, as they say, because it is what it is. Anyway, I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. You know, you probably thought I was like Seymour in the Ghost World movie, right? But now you're realizing I'm really more like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day, because you're watching me eat the exact same breakfast, the breakfast pizza, and the intimate maple waffle sandwich. Ultimate. I joked. I used to go to, what was it, Jack in the Box? They had the ultimate cheeseburger. I call it the intimate cheeseburger. And then and my older brother used to call Jack in the Box Jack in the Crack. But then I knew someone else that called it Jack Kennedy in a box. But that's not very respectful. It's kind of like, I started the day with Marvel Superheroes cartoons and Space Ghost. And today I started the day with Space Ghost, Birdman, and Marvel Superheroes. And then the same food. And then, what else? Oh, and then there was a Trump rally. And today there's going to be another Trump rally. I forget where he's at today. He's going to be doing something every day. And so... Yesterday, my wife was too sick to work. I think she's going to work today. I got to make sure she wakes up at 10:30. And then, I don't know. Maybe I'll do a live stream. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Might be interesting to talk to my friends in the comic book community. Oh, they're so wonderful. Oh my God, I don't know if that's copywritten music or not. Oh, it's that stuff from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Or whatever that's called. So, I'm coming home from work, I think Tuesday night. I throw on something that's live. There's a comic book claim sale going on. I think it's Psychotronic Squirt Gun and Cheap Comic Collector. To show these comics assorted from all different time periods, and they're all $2. And as long as you just say claim, you have to type the word claim, and then you have to type what the comic is first before the other people in the chat. And if you beat them, you get the comic for $2. This is on YouTube. $2 and shipping is paid for. Well, I tune in, and I've seen a little bits of the show before, but most of the comics, it's like looking in a dollar box in a comic store, and very rarely do you see gems. Usually it's stuff from the 90s and more recent, and just stuff, comics that you never would have even thought that anyone would ever buy. Like there was a comic called Lumberjanes. Someone thought, why don't we make a comic book about lumberjacks, but they're all girls, and we'll call it Lumberjanes? I mean, that was a horrible thing. I kept seeing Lumberjanes comics. There's that same dead possum we saw yesterday. And anyway, I tune in, and man, there's a 1966 Metamorpho comic going up for $2, and no one's claiming it. So I pull over and I type claim Metamorpho. I've never done that before in my life on YouTube. I bought a few things from an auction from I Love Comics from England Team. He does these auctions on Saturday night. I buy it, then I quickly look at the rules. And yeah, you get free postage as long as you buy 10 comics, it turns out, is like what I later realized. So I bought 10 comics because the Psychotronic Squirt Gun, he has separate books. He lives in a different part of the country from the cheap comic collectors, so you have to pay them separately, and the books come to you from separate locations, right? So I bought 10 books from Psychotronic Squirt Gun. The cheap comic collector is the one that had the Metamorpho. So I did the Metamorpho, and then I saw an issue of Time Warp, the DC science fiction comic from the late 70s. I think they put out about 4 or 5 issues. I've got 2 of them, but this one popped up and I wasn't sure if it was the one that I had, so I went ahead and I claimed that one. So I had 2 comics now, $4. I figured this won't get me into too much trouble. By this point I was at home, and I asked my wife, is it okay, if I do this? She said, that's all right, they're cheap and everything. And so and then I saw there was a Classics Illustrated comic that looked really early. It's Count of Monte Cristo, I think. I mean, of course, you don't really know how early it is because they would reprint the same covers over and over again. So I got that, and then what was the 4th? I've got a 4th comic. I don't remember what that was. I don't know, I had 4 comics. And he said, and we paid, and he said, well, I really prefer that you wait until you have about 10 books, and then I'll send them out, because then the postage makes sense when you sold 10 books, and that means you've spent $20, and then the postage, doesn't take up all this profit. That makes sense. But I'm thinking, now I have to sit through another auction, and it's not claim sale, and they don't have one until Saturday afternoon, and I'm going to be watching the Trump rally. I'm going to be sitting looking at comics on Saturday afternoon. But I did it. So I had the Trump rally on the television, and on my phone, I was looking at these comics, and I was also on the phone with Meyer Greenblatt, and he was watching. He said, well, I've never seen this before, so he tuned in the claim sale too, and we were looking at all the comics as he showed them, because on Saturday, it's just cheap comic collector. Psychotronic Squirt Gun is not there. And so he's showing all these comics. I guess he buys up giant lots of comics on what's not, or whatever that thing's called, and then so you're on, and there's about 22 people watching. Of course, I'm one of them, and Meyer was one of them. He wasn't bidding. So really, there's about 19 if you discount us. And there's probably a bunch of people watching on their television, and they've got their phone going, so it's counting as 2 people. But anyway, there's competition, because the stuff I want, people are bidding on it. But so I had 4 comics. I needed to get 6 more, and I wound up getting 8 more, and we paid for that, so I guess it's going to be mailed out. But so I'm bidding against some people that watch the show, like Missing Mars and stuff, and there was one book I thought I won it. It was Amazing Adventures, and I guess he typed Kill Raven, and I maybe one I already have. I think I have them. I don't think I have every single issue of Kill Raven and Amazing Adventures. I typed in Amazing, and he typed in Kill Raven. I didn't see it, so at the end they said, you won 8 comics, and I said, I think I won 9. And he went back, and it was real embarrassing because he had to stop the show and go back and rewind, and so no, Missing Mars got it before you. That was the other one I got, is a Freedom Fighters on and I remember Missing Mars beat me, but then he said, Gratu can have it. Anyway. So Anyway, it's not really a fun experience. It's like, you know, that nervous feeling when you're in the old days when you'd bid on something on eBay and you're desperately in the last few seconds trying to outbid someone else. Horrible feeling. I don't like it, man. I don't like that kind of stress. Imagine that for 3 hours and you're looking at all these comics that it's like, I don't even know why this was published. I've never even seen these comics. Then there'll be some gem that'll come along, and sometimes it'll be. But it seemed like a lot of the stuff I liked were Archie's and Harvey comics, and then you'd bid on it, and then he'd flip through it and say, "Oh, there's big giant coupon torn out, or looks like a dog ate the back cover or something," and then he'll say, "Well, do you still want this?" There's one I backed out on. There were some others I said, "I'll go ahead," and even though the spine's kind of bad, but I prefer a more relaxed. If I'm going to be buying something, I'll just buy something where it's priced. Buy it now on eBay or mycomicshop.com. This is the price. You pay it. Okay. Instead of the tension of having to bid against other people. That's not a fun experience for me. But anyway, I tried it out. I don't think Psychotronic Squirt Gun or Cheap Comic Collector really know much about me. They were calling me Grow2. That's all right. I'll answer to Grow2. It's kind of like grow a pair, man. Grow 2 of them. There's a big orange X painted on the tree across the street from me. Does that mean they're going to cut it down? What does that mean? Maybe that means a mutant lives there. Of course, it's not a house, it's a clinic. Used to be a doctor's office. Now it's a place where they do women's hair and nails, and they still call it the clinic. Okay, now it's time for the pièce de résistance, this ultimate maple waffle sandwich. Oh shit! I was recording in there. I'm probably recording something horrible now. Well, I'm probably recording Earthworm Jim. It's probably not that bad actually compared to shit today. I'm not gonna go in there and have the dog trying to grab this from me or making me feel guilty. Yeah. Online auctions or claim sales, I'm not cut out for that. So anyway, I've got 10 books coming from the Cheap Comic Collector, and hopefully the 10 I won from Psychotronic Squirt Gun are already in the mail to me. I don't know how quick, or how quick they mail. My goodness. So, what do you have to say for yourself? How are you guys doing? Um, a few months ago, I was told that a member of the comic book community was in distress. She and her husband were about to be evicted from their house on Monday. And it was like Thursday. No, it was Wednesday. So we had, I think it was a Wednesday. It was a Wednesday afternoon. And it was in the summer because yeah, it was in the summer. I was off and it was in the middle of the afternoon. And it's like, this lady's raised a few $100s. She needs $4,000 by Monday or she'll be evicted. And so we started campaigning for her, even though it's a lady I that's nice enough. She's like one of these blue wrenches in a whole bunch of different comic shows where she, is the moderator, and she one New Year's Eve, she was on my live stream where we're celebrating New Year's Eve with my wife, and Eric Brain was there and she was there. So I've spent New Year's Eve with her. So it's not like someone I never met her in person, but we started raising money for her, and I think we raised, I don't know. I think we got her up to $1,000. I could be wrong. And maybe it was, I don't know. All I know is that by Saturday afternoon, she crossed the $4,000 during my live stream. And I spent 24 hours live streaming, raising money for her. Altogether, almost 24 hours. Of course, I'm very excessive with my live streams. And we pay to have unlimited hours on live stream. So I really thought, man, I don't want someone out on the street. That's horrible. So anyway, and she wound up raising up over 5,000 with the help of Captain Strangelove. Sold some Silver Age Spider-Man comics and gave the entire everything, all the proceeds to her, and the Comic Book Memories show and the Graphic Man. It wasn't Four Color Fossils because he'd canceled it by then. It was just the Graphic Man show. He raised some. He had her on, and I had her on my show, and I performed songs to made it like a telethon. And we got her up there, and she wound up raising $1,000 more than she needed. And I said, save that money so this never happens again. Well, she started a live stream a while back to raise money for car repairs, and she came on my show to promote it. That didn't go well. I mean, one of our loyal members of Gratu and the Jerks, he didn't like it too much. And he came on, and it was a ugly scene. He was like, "Why are you back husking?" And it was kind of. I was like, "Oh my God!" I was a little skeeved out, but I don't know. Well, anyway, I saw that she's changed. She's now going to be homeless again by this Monday. I guess rent's always due on a Monday. If she needs $4,000 again, or she's going to be evicted on Monday morning. And so it sounds like this time they're just moving out. So I told her, it seems like you need to move out of there, because once you're almost evicted, that landlord's not going to trust you or give you an inch, and the landlord's not liking you. And you probably need to find a different place to live, because that landlord is no longer a friendly landlord. Well, anyway, so she looks like they need to get out of there by Monday, and they need to raise 4,000. I think she's raised about 500. If you want to help her out, I don't know. I guess you type in Maranya Valkonen into my food's getting cold, into whatever, what is it called? GoFundMe. Oh well. I don't want to see anyone evicted, but oh well. I mean, I have a GoFundMe going myself, as my wife has been sick pretty consistently since the summer, and she's missed a lot of days. In fact, she missed yesterday's work. She works from home, and every time that happens, it's a big hit to our finances and to our paying bills. So I shouldn't be buying comics from a plane sale. I work 2 jobs. Too bad it doesn't pay money to be a blue wrench. Or she'd have more money than Elon Musk. Hopefully, you know, we'll say a prayer for her, you know. It's like he's a human being. And everybody's suffering right now, but who you don't have pity for are people that are voting for Kamala Harris and don't realize why the suffering's happening. All right, what is the sound? This sound reeks of a 1990s cartoon. Let's see what horrible stuff. Oh, look at this horrible shit I'm recording. I'm going to stop this right away. What is this? Horrible. It's from the WB network. Yeah. These badly animated people are bowling, apparently. She must have choked. When you see that kind of spiky hair, it's a very bad sign. Well, we got a package in the mail yesterday from my wife's mom, my mother-in-law. She sent a cool Tomb of Terror shirt. The other day from Timu. And then we got this package of 3 Donald Trump shirts. And they're in they're all like 3X. One was 4X. And I thought, man, she thinks we're fatter than we really are. 4X, that's like insane. But, you know, I put on the 3X and it kind of fit me well. So I'm thinking that and I've been told that this Temu is very, they aren't, you can't really trust their sizing because they're made by, this Temu stuff's probably made by Chinese prisoners of the CCP. All right, I put the shirt on. It's, I was telling my wife, uh, you know, I was born in 1965. She was born in 1978. So she may not remember the feel of polyester shirts and what that was like when your mom would buy you polyester shirts when you were in third and fourth grade. And they don't, as far as I know, make this material anymore, but I swear that this is polyester. And and this shirt fits me exactly. So if this 3X fits me exactly, I am either indeed the fattest man on YouTube, or they just size things wrong over there in CCP world. Is it CCP or CCCP? I can't remember. I think it's CCP. Anyway, let's look at this. Hold on. Let's we've got to look at some comics today, but we also need to do some house cleaning. Okay, so I'll look at this. How about that? It says Trump. What does it say down there? Take America back. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? And you can see, if you look at it in the light, you can just see how shiny it is. I don't know. Maybe that's like what the idiots wear with the football jerseys. I don't know. It's probably all laced with fentanyl. Right, Drew? Right, Drew the dog? Drew, you want a Trump shirt too. And there were all these weird little Trump little hanging things. I don't know if they're air fresheners or what. Well, I'll get those in a minute when we go up to the comic room. Okay, the Trump rally coverage starts at 9, and it is now 25 minutes until 8. 42 minutes, and we haven't shown a single comic book. Where have I heard that before? Oh, let's not go down that rabbit hole. Let's see. Well, but you don't come here to see comic books. You come here to hear me ramble. And let's see. I need to finish this disc with something. Let's see what I have in my YouTube playlist here. Well, I think Castle of Frankenstein will be out within a few days, and possibly tomorrow it will arrive in your local comic store. So that's important. How much room do I have on this disc? Oh, only 12 minutes. Oh, I should play you that Kamala Harris bit. That might amuse you. I still haven't. I need to finish watching the J.D. Vance, Tim Walz debate from the other night, because I come home from work so tired I fall asleep almost instantly before it's even dark. So I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason that she doesn't get a job, and I don't want to pry, but I'm sure there's a reason why that they're behind in the rent and she doesn't get a job. But I mean, you could, because some people have things going on where they can't do that. Let's see, man. What am I doing here? Oh, here we go.
Does your tape collection look like this? Then you need a K-Cal tape collector with special attachments.
Oh my gosh. Let's put this on.
It fits conveniently.
You son of a bastard.
Does your tape collection look like this? Then you need a K-Cal tape collector with special attachments. It fits conveniently in your car. Stores all your tapes neatly. Ready for easy selection. Tilt the first tape forward. The others follow automatically. Take your selection when it appears. When replacing tapes, tape selector automatically finds the proper place. In your home or in your your car. Protect your valuable tapes with Tape Selector. $4.99 from KTEL.
Just putting on stuff to fill up this disc, man. How about that? Okay, what? Oh, this should be good. Oh my goodness. Okay.
What's in this box? It's something for you, boys and girls. Can you guess what it is? Well, here's a hint. It's the latest thing in Space Patrol equipment. Something new and different that you saw Cadet Happy using on today's program.
Pure leaf, ladies and gentlemen. No sugar. I'm trying to kick sugar 100%. Right, Drew? We don't like sugar here at the Hotel Orloff. Well, I like sugar, but I gotta lose weight, man. When a 3X shirt fits you snugly, you know there's a problem.
Presenting the most unusual Space Patrol equipment you've ever had a chance to own. Biggest news for boys and girls in the history of Space Patrol. Greatest value ever offered on this program. Space Patrol Space Binoculars. The amazing new instrument that makes everything in the distance look nearer, bigger, and
Okay, sorry.
not goggles, not a mask, not celluloid, not cardboard, but real full-power
Oh. Oh, shit. How's the show going? I'm filming a show, but I'm not live. How do you know it's a show? Oh. Yeah. Is there anything I can do? Anything you need? Okay, I'll be quick. My wife's still awake, hasn't slept all night, and she has to work at 10:30, or has to get up at 10:30. And as I was coming up the stairs, she says, "How's the show going?" I says, "Well, how do you know I'm doing a show?" She says, "Well, I heard you." Oh man, look at this! Look at the shininess. I don't know. It looks like a Halloween costume from Collegeville. Nothing from Temu is quite right. Okay, I need to find the S box so I can file some showcase, DC showcase comics. This box is not the correct box, but you know how every high school graduating class has a class song? I was class of '83, Arlington High School, Texas. In Arlington High School, I was class of '83. Class of '81, 2 years ahead of me, I watched these seniors who I would later become friends with. And you'll see why. They were campaigning to have a particular song be the class song, and it was the Peter Gunn theme. And of course, most kids in 1981 aren't going to know what the Peter Gunn theme is. That was what you were just hearing, but it was the the Henry Mancini version. Anyway, it won, but I guess someone in authority decided, no, we're going to make it The Best of Times by the band Styx. So, kind of like the 2020 election. It wasn't entirely legitimate. Not that you're not supposed to say that. So anyway, there were signs everywhere to vote for Peter Gunn. And they were pranksters, and they had a club called the Apathy Club. So at the pep rallies, they would, they would make signs. Apathy Club says, "Who cares?" and hold them up at the pep rallies. That would make the coaches so angry that people were being disrespectful to his football team. But they were these pranksters, and I later befriended them in college, and they were friends most of my life. One of them has passed away. This is a box at the end of the alphabet. It has World's Finest and X-Men in it. And then there's some space at the end. I think I'm going to put some pulps in here just to fill up the space. Very inexpensive pulps that I got for $5.
Railroad or take the chairlift to fabulous Ghost Town in the Mile High Fun Park. Ride all the rides as often as you like. One admission price includes all rides and entertainment. Every minute is action-packed as you experience the excitement of the Old West. Ghost Town offers a day
These are all very inexpensive. This one wasn't, so I won't show you the price. Edgar Rice Burroughs. Look at the Martian gun, man. Is that something else? Oh.
Hurry, hurry, hurry. All aboard for Kennywood. There's always lots to do, lots to see, something for everyone in the family. Kennywood's Kennyland is the nation's largest. Even the smallest bus can ride there. Don't leave anyone at home when you go.
We'll look at these books in this box. 56 minutes into the show. Here's the new Wonder Woman, issue 192.
And don't miss the Rotor, the thrill sensation from England. You just have to see it or ride it to believe that there can be
196.
Sit around with nothing to hold you up. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
This is, of course, the time period where Wonder Woman lost her powers and became a kung fu Emma Peel, like Emma Peel in the Avengers. Then they I'm not exactly sure. I think the sales weren't really good with the Wonder Woman title, so they were trying something new. And this is around the time that horror became real big in comic books, and so this cover, Wonder Woman number 199, you would never in a million years think that's a Wonder Woman cover until you see that. This is a great one. That's a great one. I have 2 copies of that. How could you not get 2 copies of that? I take it back. I have 3 copies. Here's 200, another horror-looking cover. Here's World's Finest 82. When you see the Comics Code Authority that big on the cover, you know it's right after the code came in, and that's real big for parents to see. This comic's okay for your kid to read. This is not part of the wave of comics that was turning your child into a juvenile delinquent gang member who had switchblade fights in the park. Here's 117. This is really one of my favorite covers of all time. Just want to stare at that for a while. I love the design of Batwoman's costume. I love the space alien. Look at that. Incredible. 147. Here's a big one. I'm not waking up till 11 if I can get any more sleep. Okay. So I just got a text message from my wife. All right. This is an important issue because this is the one where Batman slaps Robin. It's a fantasy story about. It's basically the story that you get from that. What's his face that made Batman v Superman, where Batman doesn't like Superman. It's an imaginary. DC would call them imaginary stories, as opposed to the other stories that are strict reality. I will be back. Yeah, absolutely. Look at this, man. How about that? She says if you eat enough grapes a day, it's really good for your eyes and cleans out your system. I was just talking to my wife. So I letting her know I saw her text message. This looks, it looks like a bottle of booze, doesn't it? Wow, look at this. This is from before most of you were born. This is me in 1974. That's Aquaman, Captain America, Green Goblin, Human Torch, and Mr. Fantastic. And I know that I used my Mego Aquaman as a model for that picture. And probably for Captain America too. But that Aquaman, I used to take a bath with Aquaman. He fell apart long ago. I need to get a new, I need to replace my childhood Aquaman. It can't be that expensive. I guess it can actually, but I need an Aquaman. You go in these fast food places, right? Or you're in the drive-through window. What do you say? I'd like a Big Mac, or do you say I need a Big Mac? Think about it. I've always just said I'd like blah blah blah, ultimate enchilada or whatever. But all these other people says I need this and I need. You don't need it. You mother. I don't know. I always thought that was funny. People say I need it. I need this. I need this ultimate bacon Terminator cheeseburger in my life. Here's one that doesn't have a bag and board. Can you believe that? World's Finest comics you can get kind of cheap because comic collectors don't like these. Comic collectors. I don't know why they don't. What's not to like? Look at this little. Yes, indeed. You know what I liked was Ultra the Multi-Alien, and no one remembers Ultra the Multi-Alien. Of course, I didn't know that Ultra the Multi-Alien existed until about 2019 myself, so I need to stop acting like an elitist. There's some little dog-eared pages I'm fixing that were not done by me, I'll have you know. Where did this go, man? 154. Here's one that idiots, well, I call them idiots, but it's not that they have idiot level IQ, but they don't think like I do. They only buy key issues. The key issues are the ones they buy. It's hard to get inside the mindset of younger people that get into the comic book collecting arena. But watching this Sticky Goose guy, I realized, okay, here's someone that gets into comic book collecting 4 years ago when he's already probably in his mid-30s. And he doesn't know how to do it, so he watches Comic Book Tom and Swaggle House and whoever else on TV tell him how to collect and what comics are important and key issues and are going to go up in value. So he buys the comics slabbed, or he gets them and slabs them, and then he's unsatisfied, and then he doesn't understand. It's like, well, I looked at these Silver Age comics. They said that I should get all these Fantastic Fours with Jack Kirby and Stan Lee and these Spider-Man Steve Ditko issues and John Romita, and you know, and he said this. He said, "It's the Silver Age comics. Do you guys really like this? It seems like these are written for children, because they figure that comics have always been for adults, because I guess they read Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns and the dark 80s and 90s graphic novels and Alan Moore, you know, British warlocks writing comics with all this anti-religion themes and stuff, and they figure, well, that's comics, and they realize, well, some of these seem like they're written for little kids. What's going on with this stuff that people? It's because he doesn't have any emotional connection with these old comics. That's why he doesn't. He didn't read them when he was a kid. So he was saying, I think, that new people, he recommends that they get omnibus books and not the single issues. That's the mistake people make. That's how he looks at, that's how these people look at things. And then they only buy single issues if they're key issues. And this would probably be a key issue to one of those people, because it has the Joker on the cover. World's Finest, number 156. See, they did it right there. They've got the purple background, which DC liked to do, but they've got white letters on it. And as long as the letters are not off register, you can read 156. But when they put the black letters on top of the purple background, you can't read it. Maybe you could when you were 10. Look at that. The FBI is the Federation of Bizarro Idiots. Maybe under Biden, that should be the name of the... I like that. The Federation of Bizarro Idiots. I gotta remember that. That's almost as good as Gratu and the Jerks. But here I am at age 59, almost 60, and I've got ice cream truck music playing while I look at these books. Now, I say, well, Sticky Goose doesn't have an emotional connection. These weren't the comics he read as a kid. And of course, I have an emotional connection with the comics I read as a kid, and of course, the early 70s and mid 70s. Yeah, it just seems like later on, I just don't. It's not that I wasn't a kid when those comics were coming out. It's just they're clearly not as good. I don't think. Early 70s, you still had the great World War II guys. The World War II vets were still there. Kirby and all those people, Ditko, were still around. But you had this wave of new artists like Val Mayrick and Neil Adams and Bernie Wrightson and Mike Ploog, and there were just so many. And then there were artists that people don't give credit to, like Ramona Fradon and Marie Severin, and just there's so many. And today, I don't know where all those artists, even the new wave of artists in the early 70s that were the new kids, they're already passing away. I know Mike Ploog's still around, but Bernie Wrightson's gone, Neil Adams, and of course the World War II generation that were part of the Golden Age and then the Silver Age, they're gone. Almost all of them, pretty much all of them. But there's no new replacements coming in. But anyway, it's hard to think with ice cream truck music playing. They need to play that during a debate. If I ran one of those news networks, I would play ice cream music over and over again while they had to answer the questions and see who can do it, because that simulates real stress, because meeting with Putin or the Prime Minister of Israel is probably more stressful than trying to talk with ice cream truck music playing. So they just look at things completely different than we do. DC knew that purple covers sold. They knew that covers with gorillas sold and covers with dinosaurs sold. And of course, the fact that the Joker's here means the TV show was on the air, and then the go-go checks are also a good indication it's from that time period. But okay, so what? I was born in 65, so why would I have emotional connection to a comic from when I was 1, when I wasn't even conscious? I was learning to speak and crawl. Because these were the comics of my older brothers, who were both 10 years older than me. 10, and I guess my brother Mike is I think 10 and 11 years older than me, so they were already, comic book readers when I was crawling. And so I love this era. And I've always loved reading this era. Yes, they're comics for kids, absolutely, because comic books are for kids. And when they started to make these adult comics, I enjoyed reading Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns, but then all the comics started to become that, and that's not the way I look at the world. When you talk about Make America Great Again, it's the old stuff that I like. Here's 159. And I disagree with Sticky Goose. Don't get omnibus books. Get these big 80-page giants, or the 100-page giants from the 70s, because that will give you a lot of entertainment. Look, I have 2 copies of that. How about that? Here's 164. 165. 165. I guess this comic book, I bought it. How many was that? Was that 4 of them? There are 3 copies of it. Every time I go into a comic store, it seems like I see this. They said, we don't have any Silver Age comics. We just have a couple over there, and one of them's going to be this one. This issue must have sold millions of copies. The circulation right about this time must have been so big because of the Batman TV show. This is everywhere.
The star that thrilled you in Necronomicon, Janine Renault, in a new, blood-curdling, fascinating...
There's kind of a... It's worn, right? But it's still readable. Its staples are attached. It's fine. And I got it for $5 from Kevin Johnson, a wonderful store in Mesa, Arizona, that I consider my personal comic book dealer. And a sponsor. Well, he's a sponsor of this channel. And yeah, that's the best comic book store, bar none, that I've ever seen in my life.
Reality combined to form a relentless chain of events. Fate brings a group of men and women together in this castle with a strange, mysterious history. It is an appointment with lust.
Here's 171, also from Gotham City. This is people argue whether this is the first appearance of Two-Face, and hadn't appeared, in a couple of decades since the Golden Age, but it's not technically Harvey Dent. I think the first, some people really consider the first appearance of Two-Face that issue of Batman, or was it Detective Comics? I think it was Batman with the ship and the Neil Adams cover. But this one is got a little value. I've got 2 copies of it. Here's 176. 177. 179. 182. You are a prisoner in labyrinth. 185. This one is not in very good shape, but what can you do? 187. You're looking at this comic collection. I've been collecting since about 1969 at age 4. And this is what I've amassed. and I'm only showing you the Silver Age up till the, any 20 cent and up World's Finest is going to be back here. But so why don't I have more? Why is my collection so shitty? It's just because I bought a lot of other things too. If I was only buying comics and not records and other things also, then I guess I would have a much more impressive collection too. I don't know why I'm apologizing to you, you worthless scum. Just kidding. We love our viewers out there in comic book land, in the comic book community. Can you believe what Gradu said? He was talking about the comic book community being scum. Can you believe it? I think most people are scum, don't you think that? Oh, look. If you support Trump, you're loved by the Hotel Orloff. Oh, this is not good. Oh my God. Look at that. That's really not, that's kind of unacceptable. Do I have another copy of this? That's not good. 188. I ask you, Scott, at Last Frontier Comics, do you have a copy of World's Finest 188? This is not a rare comic. Never mind. I have another copy. Maybe I'll give that away as a prize to someone that doesn't like that particular page. Yeah, this one feels slick and nice. That's why that one wasn't bagged. That's pretty cool there. I wonder why that page was torn. I like this shot of the Batmobile. Like you're in the back seat, like they're your parents. Mom and Dad, Bruce and Dick. Well, I saw on CNN that a man can be a woman, so I guess that could be the case. Yeah, Frederick Wortham in Seduction of the Innocent, the book he wrote that caused the Comics Code of Authority to start being slapped on comics by themselves, by the comic book industry, came up with this. And the guy in charge of Archie Comics was in charge of the whole thing. They were self-censoring to keep the government off their back. But one of the things that Wortham did is he sat a kid down, some youngsters that were gay, and asked them, would you trade places with either Batman or Robin? And they said, sure. They said, well, then it must be a homosexual fantasy. Anyway, it was a completely innocent thing. I never got into Tootsie Rolls, man. I thought they were horrible. Who likes that stuff? Incredible. All right. World's Finest 191. Is it? What time is it? 192. This is another World's Finest I see a lot. Or I used to when I knew where the comic stores even were. 194. Look at this wreath. Rest in peace from the Mafia. That's hilarious. The Mafia doesn't actually call themselves the Mafia, do they? Oh, look, I got another copy. Isn't it La Cosa Nostra? This is another great cover that I'd have on a wall if I had a comic book wall. says, "Hurry up with your graves, Jimmy and Robin. I'd finish you myself, but haha, I have a code against killing." And Batman says, "So I'll do the job. So I'll do the job, boys. Dig now, die later." They're making Jimmy Olsen and Robin dig their own graves. And then Batman's going to kill them. Oh. That's a cover I like. So much I bought it twice. A lot of what's going on? Why do I have all these duplicates? Because you always find World's Finest. Because in comic stores, no one touches them. Maybe it's because it's at the end of the alphabet, or maybe these people think they're cheesy, but you can always find these comics. And then I'd be in a store and say, "Do I have that? I think I have that, but I'm not sure." And then I'd get it, and then, yeah, I already have that. This is the third time that Superman and the Flash raced. I don't have the other two. This is 198. I mean, I do in reprint for them, but here's 200. That's got it. That's definitely Neil Adams. Look at the anguish in Robin's face. He did anguish well. This is one every time I look at an issue 202, I think some kid has vandalized it because it looks like some kid has gone around it with a pen and colored that in, but that's actually the way it was printed. Every time I see this, I think, wow, some kid with their markers. What? Here's one of those 48-page, only 25 cents kids. Where's the number? Oh, 208. This is about the time period that I started to become aware of comics. But I was mostly into the horror comics at that point, and Dennis the Menace, and stuff like that. But this time period, Superman started teaming up with other people in World's Finest instead of just Batman only. Oh, he's back with Batman. They reconciled. They just, now he's out cheating with Hawkman. I have 2 copies of that. Nice colors. I like the flames in the background. $2.12. Here's my copy of X-Men #1 facsimile. Here's my facsimile of 4. Here's my, whatever issue this is with Kazar, which apparently is pronounced Kazar because everybody's saying, I saw, oh, it tells you right there, Kazar. Yeah, I think they did that so people wouldn't think it's... I think that the name came from the Khazarians and that they did the Kesar just so... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I pronounced it Khazar since 1974. It's not gonna take 55 years of saying Khazar. Not that I ever said it that much. How often does Khazar come up in your daily conversation with normal people? Only in the last few years, when I, interacted with other people on YouTube, would I ever even have to say the name. It's usually just a name I hear inside my head. The Merry Marvel Marching Society wants you. They should, you know how they recruit soldiers over there in the Ukraine? They just find some guy standing on his porch and they go up and they punch him and they throw him in the back of a van. Congratulations, you've been drafted. And sometimes there's a camera running and captures their method, and usually that guy only lasts a few days, and before they're, hamburger meat. But maybe the Mary Marvel Marching Society should have recruited that way. Just punch you out. Okay, congratulations, you're a member of the Mary Marvel Marching Society. Here's your card. Okay. Yeah, so I've got a bunch of these comics, damaged X-Men comics. And then this one is in not very good shape. It's in number 8. It's interesting. Someone wrote 11/64, November 64, and 10 cents on there. Because it was originally 12 cents, so they were selling it maybe at a garage sale for 10 cents because, it's an old comic. Okay. My next X-Men is 22. Kevin got a 14 in with the first appearance of the Sentinels, and I thought, man, I would love it, but it's in like really good condition. Like, I don't know, like an 8.0, which I think we would used to call very fine. And so that's probably going to go for $500, so I don't think I'm going to get that one. Here's 20. It almost slipped. 24. Another 24. Man. Trade you one of my 24s for that 14. Here's 27. I used to buy these in the late 70s, and they weren't very expensive. Here's 28. And this is a bootleg 20. Well, it's a J.C. Penney reprint of 28. The other one, the first one I showed you was real. Let's compare them. Okay. See if how. Okay, this is the real one. This is the reprint. So if you look at the real one, you can see. Look at the end. You see how it's off registration. You can see as far as the line of the end, and on the reprint they got it absolutely perfect. But the colors are pretty close. A lot better than the facsimiles that come out. Really, they're almost indistinguishable, let's face it. But I can see the black back, the back cover is black. Let's pull it out. This really could fool people that buy comics at a store and don't pull them out of the bag. You see the back is a modern 1990s Stridex ad. And all the ads internally in the book are these horrible looking 1990s ads that are just depressing looking. Razzles, they're totally tubular, dude. Dare ya. This horrible looking Spider-Man. I mean, here, that looks pretty authentic. It's newsprint and everything. It's totally insane. Radical wrestling from Capcom. Just horrible. The world degenerated. So that's the reprint. And the real thing, instead of that Stridex ad, you've got an ad for the Aurora, Spider-Man, Hulk, and Captain America model kits on the back cover. This is a pretty good copy of this. U.S. government surplus stuff for sale on the inside front cover because they're still trying to get rid of all that stuff from World War II and the Korean War. It's almost like they had the Korean War just to try to get rid of some of the stuff left over from World War II. No, that's not true. Here's X-ray specs. Look at all these ads beating. Here, I'll teach you how to beat people up that don't like you for reading comics. The darling pet monkey. These ads are fantastic in these mid-60s. And of course, you didn't get the ad for these comics that are out. Damn. I should just lick my fingers. I see people on YouTube. No offense. Don't lick your comic books. Drew likes. That's why I have to keep these comics away. She'll lick anything, man. She's like Mikey. She'll lick anything. Okay. 24. Okay, what now? Why I have a copy of 29? It's beat up, man, but it's there. It's sort of there. A little chunk gone there. 31. Ooh, this one is real bad, and this one went through a fire. It looks like it went through a fire and a flood. And it has, it's a great issue. I've got the reprint from the early 70s also. You can tell X-Men wasn't selling well when Spider-Man has to come in and help sell the comic. And if Spider-Man doesn't bring the sales up, surely having Frankenstein's monster on the cover is going to bring up the sales. Well, it's still not selling. Maybe we'll kill off a major character. Or maybe we'll just say they're all ending. Maybe that'll get people to buy it. Maybe if we just only put Beast and Iceman, and maybe it's the name X-Men people don't like. Maybe we just make it Beast and Iceman. Hearing weird noises. Well, that didn't work. Maybe we'll call it Cyclops and Marvel Girl. Maybe that will rank. Still not selling. Maybe we'll bring in Jim Steranko. He's the hot new guy we've got. That's one of the names I forgot to mention earlier. The new blood that came in the late 60s. He was fantastic. This is a great one. Kevin just got a copy of this, but he sold it like instantly upon receiving it. He got this new collection, and the guy came in. You got any Marvel Steranko X-Men covers? Yeah, I just bought some like 30 minutes ago. And then one of the first Silver Age comics, I traded a kid in San Antonio when I was in 4th grade for this. It's Kazar, also known as Kesar to people that are in the know. And this is the J.C. Penney reprint they did of that one. And then this is a 72. It's someone wanted to buy some. I'm going to see what they bought. It's got a date stamp. July 26th. Can't make out the year, but let's get the comic out of the bag and figure it out. This sounds like Dawn of the Dead music when they were in the mall. It sounded a lot like this. When they're stumbling around, the zombies falling into the fountain and stuff. But this is real music that actually played in stores back in 1959. Okay, the reason I took this out was to see what the kid ordered. Sometimes you'll see the kid fills out the coupon and then they never cut it out. They just are dreaming, what if I could order this pet monkey or this cardboard tank, which they didn't realize was cardboard. And then the parent says, no, we're not ordering that. I'm not giving you $1.50, a whole $1.50 for that. And so you get the comic book and it has someone's name and address filled out, and you can Google Earth that address and see where your comic book used to live back in 1955 or 1967. Oh, they ordered from the Johnson Smith catalog. I wonder what they ordered. I think they ordered the X-ray specs. Maybe these masks. Kevin, do you have these two masks here? I bet you do in your collection. Who knows? Maybe he learned how to hypnotize people. Well, anyway, that sucks. But it's part of the history of the comic. This is already reprinting older stories, I think, at this point. Yeah, what they did is they couldn't get X-Men to sell, so they just started going into reruns, and they ran reprints the early part of the 70s until about 1975, when they started a new X-Men and used some of the same old characters like Cyclops stayed and Jean Grey, but then they added Wolverine and all that, and that's when X-Men took off. Before that, X-Men was a comic that, but I must say, Stan Lee never canceled the book. He knew, it was like he was Nostradamus. He knew someday, 10, 12, 13 years in the future, this comic is gonna take off. I hate hearing Stan Lee talked about badly. I know he did take more credit for creation of characters, 100%. I understand that. But Kirby and Ditko, fantastic artists, fantastic creators. Yes, they came up with the stories and the characters, but without Stan Lee's finishing dialogue and without Stan Lee's salesmanship and making you feel like you were part of a movement, a wave, buying Marvel Comics was actually making you cool. None of it would have worked. He was crucial, and you can deny that and say, no, Jack Kirby would have been fine with the Fantastic Four. No, because he couldn't write dialogue. I just love old comics. 6 panels on a page. Oh, I think I heard my wife scream.